Hi friends, do you know that the resurrection of Jesus is what gives us eternal life? Question. Let's dig into it. In the famous book of John chapter 3 verse 16, the Bible tells us that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. There is a fundamental principle of truth that every Christian must have to live by. For example, you must have to believe that God raised Jesus from the dead, otherwise you are not a Christian. This is because salvation was made available by the resurrection of Jesus. The death of Jesus paid for the sins of the world, but that was neither the end nor the purpose of Jesus' death. Check this out. If you find a poor man who has a lot of debt, and you paid for his debt, that would be great, but that is not enough. Paying for his debt made him a free man, but he still remained very poor. It's going to require something more than paying for his debt to bring him out of his poverty. In the same way, when Christ paid for the sins of the world by the shedding of his blood, we were free from the consequences of sins, but it didn't make us free from the nature and the power of sin. But the resurrection of Jesus Christ is what gives us a new life and power over sin. It gave us a new life of righteousness. If you believe in his resurrection, it means that you believe in his death as well. Because, friends, it's just so simple. There is no resurrection if there is no death. Now, here's the good news. Jesus' resurrection is what gave us eternal life. The Bible in the book of Romans 6 verse 4 says, "Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so should we walk in this newness of life." The resurrection of Jesus is what ushered us into this new life of righteousness. Righteousness means you have been declared justified, or simply means you have been made free from every of your debt due to sin. And now it gets very interesting. Jesus' resurrection made salvation possible for everyone who believes in his heart and confesses Christ as Lord with his mouth. Once you do this, you will receive a new life. This life is what is called eternal life. Eternal life is the same life that God the Father possesses. Eternal life you receive is what makes it possible for you to have fellowship with God. This life is what Jesus said in the book of John chapter 10 verse 10, that he have come to give us, and not just that we should have it, but we should have it in his fullness.